Hi, everyone. I am Heather, and I want to welcome you to Magnificent Authors Podcast, brought to you by Magnificent Mamas. This is the show where we'll celebrate the magic of storytelling and the power of words. I'm your host, Heather, and each week I'll be sitting down with incredible authors from all walks of life to explore their creative journeys, uncover their writing secrets, and delve into worlds they create. Whether you are an aspiring writer, a passionate reader, or simply curious about the minds behind your favorite books, this is the podcast for you. So grab a cozy blanket, pour yourself a cup of tea, and get ready to be inspired by the magnificent authors who join us. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Heather here. We are joined today with Sarah. She is an author. Sarah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, I'm Sarah Van Buskirk. I know my last name is crazy. I usually just tell people to call me Sarah V. It's a lot easier, but I'm an author of children's books, and then I have my first romance novel that's launching tomorrow. I'm really
Oh,
excited.
wow.
Yeah,
That's exciting. That is like, woo,
yeah,
real soon.
I know.
Okay. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your children's book first?
Sure. So I have three books. The first one is called The Boy Who Picked His Nose. The second
Nice.
one is Girl Who Sucked Her Thumb, and the third one is The Girl Who Chewed Her Nails. That's part of a little series. It was
Mhm.
just I wrote the first one simply just to write it for my son to help him break the habit of picking his nose. And then I just knew it would help other parents too who have kids who have nasty hygiene habits, and I wanted to help them there. And then once I jumped into that world of publishing, I realized I love it so much. I love sharing the stories with other people. And then my mind just kind of wandered and I was like, what else can I write? And then this book, Cowboys Runaway, was kind of born from there. And then like almost 2 years later, here I am with my first novel about to launch. So
Nice.
I fell in love with writing and this whole process and storytelling. It's just my favorite.
I completely understand. I love it. There's nothing quite like writing, and then when you see your name on a book or, on Amazon or something, there's no other feeling that I can think of to describe it, honestly.
Yeah, it is a crazy feeling, like getting to hold your book for the first time. It's very emotional. It's a weird thing that you really can't get anywhere else. Like
Yeah.
you have to publish a book to understand it, to understand like I worked so hard, I've thought about this for so long, and then now I'm finally holding it. It's weird. It's weird.
Like, I don't even care if anyone reads it. I mean, yeah, you do, but just to sit there and hold it and be like, "Look,"
Yeah.
little brag moment.
Exactly. I know that was my first picture books is I just wanted to do it, just to try it. I didn't care if anybody read it, liked it. Like I just wanted the story available.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my toe dipping in the water. So
Nice. And you have your romance book launching tomorrow.
yes, it's a Cowboys Runaway. It's a Western historical fiction romance. It's clean. Um, yeah.
You want to tell us a little more without giving it anything away?
Yeah, sure. So the main character, Emma, is trying to find her friend who can help her prove her innocence. And while she goes off to in the Wild West, she runs into James, who is the hero of the story, and they end up kind of helping each other in a way. She needs money because she's completely poor, penniless when she gets out to the West. And then she ends up finding work on his ranch, and he doesn't really want her there because he doesn't really trust her. But they're forced to work together. That close proximity is there, and he
Oh,
ends up
yeah.
proposing her. All the good swoony stuff is in there. And then, yeah, so it's just this journey of her trying to find her friend, and then new adventures come from that. And there's a lot of action and things like that in there as well.
Awesome. So what inspired you to write that book? You mentioned that your son and other children were the inspiration behind the children's books. And this is like a huge leap. I feel like maybe it's not, but
It is. It really is. Because I honestly, for years, I told everybody too. I was like, there's no way I could write a novel. There's no way. There's too much that goes into it. I don't know how to write a novel. It's, all those thoughts. I've had those for years. And then my husband and I were on a trip. So this story is inspired by my husband and myself, and the whole series will be inspired by my husband and his brothers. It's the Hartley Brothers series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was on a trip with him and he said something that was so profoundly beautiful. I'm like, man, that should be a book. Like it's so beautiful. And then I thought maybe I could write a book. I wonder if it would be a book, what would it be? And then I just started brainstorming from there. There's a specific scene in my mind that I was like, I just want to write it. So I sat down and I wrote it. I sent an email to my sister without a subject header in the email. It just was a blank email that was sent to her with my writing in there. And she was like, "This is really good. Who is this from?" Like she didn't know. She thought I copied it from somewhere. Like I just was sharing her a piece of another book from somewhere. And she goes, "This is really good." And I was like, "Do you like it?" She goes, "Yeah." Like, who's the author? And I said, "I think that was me. I just was trying to see if I could do it." She goes, "Oh my gosh, you have to do it." So my sister's the reason why I kind of went through with it because she's like, you cannot not do it. She was really
That's
a
awesome.
huge inspiration for me and she motivated her to get it done.
That's so important to have that, and that's such an amazing thing that you have family that's supportive and inspiring and whatnot. That's awesome.
Yeah, you really need it, especially as a self-published author. The validation comes from people's reviews and things like that. And it's hard. There's a big pendulum where I'm swinging constantly of like, is this even a good story? And then, oh man, I love this story. I think people should read it. And it's just crazy the mind tricks that this whole process plays on
Oh
me as
yeah,
an author personally. It's crazy.
I get it completely. It makes total sense. I
Yeah.
think, the self-published authors, they work so hard and they have it harder than traditional published authors, but I feel like so many of their books are so much better. Like the indie publisher or indie books, indie authors, so good.
Yeah, I know a couple of self-published authors that are doing so well. They hit it off so well. They just knew what they were doing. They knew the kind of story that people would want to read. They just crafted it so well that they've taken off and it's doing great for them. And I'm hoping that that'll happen for me as well. There's a lot of work behind it. Every single aspect of the whole, I guess, business you could say is
Mhm.
on your shoulders. And so I have to think of everything. And sometimes I forget like the little details and it just takes a lot of time and it is a lot of stress, but it's
Oh
fun. And
yeah.
I really love the freedom that it gives. And that's kind of why I decided just to do this anyways. Just I already knew how to do it from publishing my children's books. And then
Mhm.
I love the freedom and I'm like, I think I can do it. Let's try it. So that's here I am.
So what do you have planned for your launch? Anything exciting?
Oh goodness. I my plan was to get as many ARC readers as I could. I knew I'd be giving away free copies, and that's fine. I gave away a whole bunch of ebook copies, and then I'm having those ARC readers help get as many reviews as possible. That was kind of my strategy because I know reviews help sell books,
Oh yeah, definitely.
and they're so hard to come by. So I knew that if I could try to get as many as I could in the first week, even the first month, that might help the longevity of the sales for the book in the long run. And so I was focusing on that. I have a launch team, and because they're participating, they'll get a book box set with a whole bunch of fun stuff that comes with the signed
Yeah.
copy and things like that. But other than social media, I don't have anything else planned as of yet. I know I might be going to some public places where I can sell the book in person. That'll be in the future. I love doing those. Those are really fun. But as of right now, it's just social media and me just trying to remember all the little social media things that I'm trying to do. So that's pretty much it.
Social media is a chore, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I have two people that run our social media across the board, like all social media platforms. And right now one is out sick, so it's like, oh, everyone's stepping up, like my video editors hopping over to socials and helping out, and
Oh my gosh. It's a
it's
lot of
wild.
work. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One day I'll have a social media person. That's my goal.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
You'll get there. So you said your family is supportive of your writing. You've done the ARC readers.
My family is very heavily, they're so supportive. The family that I married into, this whole series is inspired by them. So almost every character in the story is inspired by somebody in my family. And it's so fun talking with them about future books and future plans for the stories. And it's so much fun. I mean, they could be just be really like being really nice to me, but I do think they enjoy reading the stories and coming up with the stories with me. I'm going to have a plot planning party coming up to get my second book like all outlined and everything with them, and they're excited to participate in that. And my
That's
husband
exciting.
included, so it's so fun. It's really just more of an experience overall. Like just doing this whole thing is an experience for me, but my family as well. So I'm
Yeah,
grateful for them.
that's exciting. And they're all good with being in the story and
I change it enough. Like it's inspired by them, but I
yeah.
change it enough so that it's not like awkward or weird because the next couple of books will be romance books too, and that'll be about my brother-in-law and his wife, and so it could be weird, but I do change them enough that they're different people, but it is inspired by them.
That's cool though. Um, are you currently reading anything right now?
No, I've been in and out of reading. I get too stressed because my launch is coming up. I've been too stressed to kind of focus
Yeah.
on anything else. But the book I have read most recently is The Short Straw Bride. It's a clean romance novel. It's the same time period, so I thought I could get some inspiration from there. It was really cute. I really enjoyed that one.
That's awesome. I
Are you?
think, go ahead.
I was going to ask you if you're reading anything.
I am reading a book. It's a compilation of short stories from one of the authors that I've actually had on my show, Dave Schwartz. I'm not quite half into it yet, like lengthwise, but it's good. It's different. I've never read like the short stories, like a bunch of them
Yeah, me neither.
like that. So it's definitely different. The book before that was a horror book, and that was cool. Definitely different.
What's your favorite genre?
Um, so if I'm reading, I'm open to just about anything. I like sci-fi, fantasy, romance, horror, um, historical fiction, just about anything. Just about, not everything. And then I write like sci-fi fantasy with, some action and adventure and romance and stuff like that in it. So
Ooh, that sounds like a really good mix. I'm gonna need to check those out.
definitely for sure. I was actually talking to somebody on my last podcast interview earlier about about him, and he was like, "Oh, well, I want to beta read them for you." I was like, "Oh, sweet, that'd be awesome."
Yes, beta readers
So
are such huge helps in the whole entire process of everything. I think, like 15 people on my list, and I really couldn't do it without them.
it makes such a difference to get that insight and that input. I really feel like it does. I don't know. I think right now I've heard a lot of people are struggling to find beta readers, and I'm not sure if it's just the genres I've been looking at, but sorry, I gotta plug my laptop in.
Oh, you're good. Go for it.
But I've heard that in some groups and stuff here lately. And then there was this one person I'll never forget that I was talking to about beta reading, and they're like, "Well, do you pay your beta readers?" And I was like, not typically. Beta readers typically are reading it for free to, see the book beforehand and whatnot. And she's like, "Well, I might read it, but I might not." I was like, "Okay." Like,
Yeah, I know some beta readers will charge for that, and luckily I don't have any. Mine will do it for free, which they're
yeah,
amazing.
everyone, like, I haven't used beta readers in a while. I'm trying to now on the stuff that I'm putting up on Kindle Vella. But the ones that I had for one of my stories a while ago, like, I had so many people volunteering to beta read and, like, do it for free. Like, I couldn't imagine paying somebody to beta read.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
ARC reading, they're getting stuff, so that's, they're getting a copy and whatever else the author's throwing in. So
Yeah.
I've got my first signed copy of a book and another one on the way. So I'm starting my, collection there. It's exciting.
That's awesome. You're gonna sell them.
No,
Oh.
I don't think so, because I just think it's awesome having the author send me a book to review and then they wrote like a personal message.
Oh, I see. Like you as an ARC reader.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha.
So like we do reviews through our website, and one of the authors sent me and Jojo, he sent us both a copy of his book, which is the one I'm reading now. And like he signed it and wrote a personal message, and he sent me a CD of his music as well, which was cool. I was kind
Oh,
of surprised at that. So
yeah.
I'm still got to listen to that too. Maybe I'll listen to it while I read his book and see.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. It's been such an experience connecting with authors and getting to know everybody and hear about these amazing books. My list of books to read is so long, it's unreal. Like, everyone's telling me about these amazing books, and I'm like, I need to read that.
I just wish we had more time, and I wish that's all we could do is just sit and read. That would be the life. That'd be amazing.
Read, write, relax.
Yeah,
That
I
would be
know.
nice.
I have a long TBR as well.
I bet. So what do you read? Like romance? Do you read any other genres?
So mostly any kind of genre as long as it has romance. I just don't, I'm just not interested in it if it doesn't have
I
romance.
don't see how, like, so like when I'm writing sci-fi fantasy, I don't see how I can't help but have romance in there.
Yeah.
Because like, especially if you have like a guy and a girl,
Mhm.
come on now. There's
I know.
gotta be some chemistry.
I know. It's funny. I'll watch shows with my husband, and he's like, "I think you'll like this one." He always tries to find ones with romance in it because he knows if there's no romance, I have no interest in sitting with him and watching the show.
Mhm.
And there's some shows where I'm just guessing. I'm like, "Oh, are they gonna fall in love?" He goes, "No." Like I just make assumptions, like really hoping that there'll be something there, that there'll be some sort of connection, and there's not. It's this third romantic and part of me that I'm always trying to find the romance story in whatever it is. It
That's
might be a
awesome.
problem. It might have a
No.
big problem. I don't know.
No, I think it's sweet. And that sounds probably lame saying sweet, but
Uh,
I don't know. I think we all grew up like loving the romance that you see in movies and in, I hate to use this example, but like the Disney stories, you picture the perfect romance, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Ever since then, Beauty and the Beast, that was my favorite.
I'm going to blame it all on Disney on this one.
Yes. It's so funny because as an adult, all the stories that I'm really excited about are the like enemies to lovers
Hmm.
trope, which is my story is based off that as well. And I'm like, it makes so much sense now. Beauty and the Beast was my favorite. Like the whole like conflicting
Enemy
enemy. Yeah, those are my favorite stories. It just makes so much sense.
totally makes sense. And I mean, that makes some of the best ones, I feel like. But I like that trope too, so
Yeah, that one's my favorite.
it's definitely good. I don't know. I feel like Cinderella is okay, but I don't know, not the greatest. I love Aladdin. That's
Oh, is that your favorite?
that's one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, Aladdin's a good one.
And then Mulan, just because she's like fierce and independent, and she does get the guy at the end and everything like that. But like just the independence alone, I love seeing that because it's always, the relationship, the girl and the guy, nobody alone in being fierce. And I feel like she's fierce.
Yeah, I
My
like
little
that.
2 cents.
Yeah, it's a good one. I do like that one.
Do you have any advice you'd give to aspiring writers?
You just gotta start. I will say there's things that you don't know until you start doing it. So I wrote the first the first time I wrote the story, I planned for about 20 chapters, and I got to the 11th chapter and realized I'm writing in third person. I don't like third person. I thought that because it's a historical fiction romance, most of those are in third person, and so I just felt like that's what it needed to be. And I'm like, I love reading first person. Why would I write in third person? So I
Yeah.
started all over again. I wrote the whole thing. I got all the way to the end and then realized, oh, the main character Emma is this person. I need to rewrite the beginning because I thought I knew who she was, but by the end she became a different person to me. So then I had to fix it so that it was more consistent. So things like that you really don't know until you start. You can
Mm-hmm.
sit and dream about it. You can sit and look at your outlining and all those things, but by doing, I think more comes out of it. And so you just waste kind of a lot of time waiting for it to be perfect in your head before you start going. So I think that's the best advice. And then also find other, like, try to find a mentor. I have a good mentor author friend who will give me even just motivational advice every once in a while when we chat or DM on Instagram. She told me,
Mm-hmm.
this is Sharon M. Peterson, by the way. She's amazing. She told me about writing your first book is really hard because, or launching it is because you're trying to find your readers. And that resonated with me so much because even if like I could have friends with somebody and we could get along really well, we still might not like the same
Oh
books.
yeah,
And
totally.
I can't take it personally, you know, and it's hard not to do that. But it's important to know, like in the first book, you're trying to find your specific readers, and it's okay if they're not your type of reader. It's totally fine. And so it's just a big long process that you don't really understand until you try it. And having that support system with you is really helpful. And I'm happy to be anybody's support system too. If anybody want to reach out to me and message me on Instagram, I would love to be a support system because I've had that in return, and I just want to give forward as well.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
so yeah.
That's sweet. Not too many people are like that. I know there was an author, I forgot who it was, and I wouldn't say the name anyways, but she posted like a video on like Instagram or TikTok or something. This was a while ago. And she said, I don't respond to messages, I don't respond to comments. Like, these are your fans and you're saying that? No.
Oh, that just puts a bad taste in people's mouth. And especially if you're doing it, I just feel like if they're giving you so much love in that way, you know, the least you could do is at least try to respond. I will say it does get really overwhelming. So even if
Oh
it's a
yeah.
late response, something's better than nothing
For
sometimes.
real. We've been waiting on a response from my daughter. She's 15, from an author she's loving reading right now. I cannot remember. She has initials, but the last name is Bailey. And Zoe, my daughter's 15 and really wants her to be on our show. And so when we first started discussing, podcasting and having authors on the show, I reached out to her and I was like, hey, my daughter loves your books. She's read them like a million times. And for her to read is like a challenge, anyways, because she's dyslexic, ADHD. And, I was like, she would love to be able to, ask you some questions and whatnot on our podcast. But fingers crossed, maybe one day she'll see the message.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I understand life happens, things get
Oh, yeah.
crazy, but yeah, I just hope that never happens to me. I hope I can be as open and be able to connect with people as much as possible, because they're everything. If I didn't have the readers,
You wouldn't
this
have anything.
I wouldn't have anything. It's really, yeah, it's super important to keep that connection, I think. And I've had some amazing authors too, not even just my mentor, that I've reached out to other authors and I'm just like, hey, I absolutely love your stories. And when they respond, it means a lot to me. And then I'm a
Oh, yeah.
forever supporter, like for any book that they write, just because of that little, like, just kindness that they gave back to me.
Definitely.
It means a lot.
Definitely. I agree completely. It's so important. It really is. Especially if you're wanting to, keep growing a following, and, the positivity alone just is wonderful.
Yeah, it spreads.
Yeah. You're such a smiley, happy person. It's nice. Um, you're welcome. So we're going to, on the day this airs, feature your book on our website with your links to your social and, to where anyone can buy your book. So there's that. Do you have anything else you want to share before we get ready to wrap up?
Yeah, that's really sweet of you. Thank you so much. I'm so
You're
glad that
welcome.
you come on. I'm also a podcast host for Worth the Read podcast
Okay.
and review and retell clean stories. It's so much fun. I do it with my sister. I would love to air this on there too, if you're okay with that.
Yeah,
So that
definitely. Do you want it uncut or
you
or
can
you want?
whatever you go ahead and cut it however you'd like, and then send it over to me. Then
Okay.
I'll put it on our podcast. I think that would be really fun so people can
Yeah,
hear about your podcast.
definitely. That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
it's fun. I love what we do. It's so fun to do it with my sister, and it's just fun to talk about the stories. And we all, like I said, we do romance novels exclusively, but we'll rate it so that people can find clean stories that they can read with their daughters if they, if they wanted to. So that's kind of our
Yeah.
aim, and we rate based off our personal rating scale of where we think the spiciness level is. So there's some that are more spicy than others and things like that. But it's fun to connect with other authors through our podcast and find these really awesome stories.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just creating a whole list of books that people hopefully can find if they're looking for clean stories. That's our whole goal. So
I
it's
get
really
it. You made me laugh thinking about it, that my daughter was reading some fantasy romance type book and she was cracking up about something. And I went over there and I was like, geez, that was graphic. Like, maybe not such a graphic book next time. I was like, man, that's a little graphic for what I would read.
Oh yeah, it's crazy too because out in the world, like there's not a really solid rating system we have for books specifically. Because even YA books, some of them are crazy graphic. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I thought in my head it would be clean because it's YA, but I just feel like there needs, like movies have a rating system. I feel like we need to have one for books, and they're just not.
So that's like a R and then some. That's like an X.
Yeah, I mean, we just need some sort of system universally, I think, for books, because I feel like just the genres itself don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Authors will put any kind of books out there, and it's fine. I'm not judging anybody who reads spicy books. I'm not judging anybody who writes spicy
No.
books. It's fine, and I read some of them too as well. But I'm on a mission to try to find clean books that have those good feelings in it, but that you can feel safe sharing with your kid, your daughter,
Yeah.
your kids if you want to. So that's our mission.
Definitely. That's awesome. I love that. That's, I think, a really important thing. The clean, not super, graphic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely. Well, I'm going to have to close here, but I thank you so much for being on the show, and I can't wait to talk to you again. And it's been really fun, and you're super sweet. And I got to check out your book, by the way.
Thank you. Cowboys Run Away. So excited. You're so great. Thank you for having me on. I had so much fun talking with you.
Thank you. It's been wonderful. Yeah. Like I said, your book will be featured on our website and on our socials the day this airs. And for everyone else out there, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And that's a wrap on another episode of Magnificent Authors Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure to share another inspiring conversation with a talented author. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Magnificent Authors Podcast so you don't miss any of our upcoming conversations with amazing writers. And be sure to check out Magnificent Mamas on our website, which is www.magnificentmamas.us, or on our Facebook page for more inspiring content from incredible authors. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's episode. What resonated with you the most? Head over to Facebook or leave a comment on our website and let me know. Until next time, keep reading, keep writing, and keep those imaginations soaring.